Well, thanks, Pierre. Can everybody see my screen here? We good?
We can.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
Well, my name is Brian Leonard. I'm the product manager at AVEVA. I work under John Krajewski. One of the products I manage is AVEVA Reports for Operations. This is a product that you may be already familiar with, but known as Dream Report by Ocean Data. We actually are I think we're in year 3 of a 3-year deal with them to provide the software to the channel. We're actually going to be owning the product after the end of that term. So we're coming up on the end, so we should own it fully. But we've been working closely with them to bring it into the fold with the other AVEVA products. We've done some skinning on it to make it look like an AVEVA product. We're gonna keep doing that enhancements and keep adding new features and new functionality to the product in general. We're not going to remove anything really in terms of data sources. All the data sources that we've got, we're going to keep active support of those and add to them. And with this 2023 release that we have coming up, there are some new drivers that are going to be made available. As Pierre mentioned, we're working with OSI Pi guys to get that stuff going. Yeah, so without further ado, here we go. This is a list of the features that we're going to be releasing. I keep saying releasing. We haven't, while this is part of the 2023 product launch, we're still working with the Ocean Data team and getting all the testing done. There's a few extra steps we have to do because we're working with them in concert. So we have to take an extra level of testing and whatnot in order to release it as an AVEVA product. So we're just finishing that. Should be expected to be done within a couple weeks. So those excited about that, like me, you'll have it available pretty soon. Here's an overview of what we released. There's some more things on this list, but this is sort of touching the highlights of that. First thing to go on is the communication drivers that we've got set up. As Pierre mentioned, we're working with the OSI teams to get this stuff going. We're taking advantage of the asset framework capabilities within the OSI Soft organization, or the OSI or the Pi system. Again, this is using the asset framework, and we're taking advantage of the 2018 SP3 drivers or SDK available from that. We're also continuing to work with them on the historical drivers. This is the web REST APIs. We made some enhancements to that. With those enhancements, because the driver was available before, but in order to use it, you had to install the web client tools on the particular machine if it's not on the same machine that Pi server's on. But now, if you still need that capabilities or they're separate, you don't need to have the client tools installed on there, and thus saving a license. So you don't need to have a separate license just for reports. It's just make the connection through your IP address there, provided the right authentication. And once you do that, you have access to the asset framework, asset server, and traditional Pi data servers available there. Once you do that, you've all exposes all of the Pi retrieval modes and data quality types ready for you there. Some of the other drivers we've got. We've added support for the AVEVA Historian Alarms ODBC driver. So once you make this connection, you're able to do all your SQL queries and import all that data into the reports like anything else. We also added support for the AVEVA Insight performance historical driver. Once you have your Insight performance data, all that MES information can be put into your report. Just simply provide the URL, the right credentials, and once you do that, once you make that connection, all the data is available in a nice, streamlined, hierarchical format, like any other data source that you've got, whether it's InTouch, System Platform, Rockwell, or whatever. It's available just like that to run all your calculations and whatnot, like any other data. Some of the other communication drivers that we've got. Maybe like the less popular or less fancy drivers. We still love them nonetheless. Add them to the fold there, and you'll see here that these are actually ones that have been requested from customers and users that need these drivers. So we actively take requests and demands from customers. If there's a particular driver that we don't have, that's not part of the hundreds of drivers that we've got, just simply ask us and we can try to get something going depending on the demand and workload and things like that. But we definitely take people's requests seriously and want to add to the list. One of the cool features coming out is the web clusters capability. So just to take a step back, with AVEVA Reports, we have the capability of exporting to multiple types of data sources or multiple types of outputs. The typical one is just the standard PDF document that gets created with static information there. The report gets generated, it gets stored somewhere, and usually people don't look at it until they need it. But whatever, if it's a part of a daily process, they're viewed in those PDFs. We also have the capability of exporting to a web server. And those PDFs can also be viewed in the web server, but with that, you can also have some information. You can actually interact with the objects that are in the report. Like trend data, or you can do alarm filtering. And this is all capabilities within the product that you can configure. But once you have that capabilities in your web server and you're using the web server, you add extra functionality in that you can have that interaction. And we've enhanced that capability here with this web clustering capability. It's really easy to use. You just take your standard report that you've got generated that's going to be exported to a web server, and you highlight them and create a web cluster, just like you're going to create a cell in InTouch or whatever. You do that, you create the web cluster, and as soon as you define that web cluster, it gets assigned to a URL. That URL, once you've enabled the security and defined it, whether they have to log in automatically or they log in automatically or they have to log in every time they use it, that can be set here. But once you get that URL, you can put that into any other application that has access to the server, whether that's an OMI app or InTouch or whatever. That information can be viewed seamlessly within the other product. So that's a pretty cool feature that we're excited about. Dream Report and AVEVA Reports has had the capability of having e-signatures. But before, it used to actually be a separate add-on that was part of the life science program. With AVEVA Reports, we just made it a standard product. So if you want to use that capability, it's just part of AVEVA Reports now. With this 2023 version, we've enhanced that capability to have multiple states of your e-signatures. And this is just a screenshot of the web server capability and show you the different graphical displays, the colors and things like that, just to let you know what state the signatures are at. Within those states, you can configure particular locations for that sort of I guess intermediate state of not started and not completed. It's unsigned. You can set a location just for those until they're done, and then it'll automatically move them to wherever you want to store them. And the notifications, we've enhanced that capability. So with the different levels of users, they can be notified when they're due to sign a report. So the first person gets notified. You can either be done through the web portal. We realize not everybody has the web portal open all the time. And so there's a push notification via email to let you know that the report is ready to be signed. There's sort of an example here real quick of what that looks like. But the text is available there based off the text that you configure down at the bottom. There's a little sample of what it looks like, and there's actually a link to the report in the email, so they don't have to go searching for it and figure out where that link is. They can just go click it directly, sign it, and then once that's done, the next person on the list will then be notified that it's their turn to sign it. Once all that's done and all the signatures are completed, you can then have a notification be sent to the user so that it's all done, you're good to go, and business as usual. So there's that. We made some other enhancements that instead of having a big flat folder where everything is just all the reports are all in one location, we have the capability of having multiple levels within your application. Makes things a lot easier for just organization. But this also gives us the capability of assigning access to the particular reports just based off of a folder level. So instead of going into each particular report and setting the access levels there, you could just do it on a folder level. Makes that a lot easier. Some of the other things we've done in the product is basically just reacting to the world. The world is becoming ever scary and in terms of security purposes. So we have to design our software to live in that world. So we've added enhanced security capabilities, rotating passwords, hash marks and all that stuff in order to keep up with the world around us and to keep all your data and information safe. And we're continuing to do that all the time. It's a never-ending battle. So again, next version we'll have more, and we're continuing that with our SDL practices. Some more other enhancements are to the web portal in general. One big request we've got is the ability to dynamically set the client. So whether you're on a desktop client or you're in a mobile client, the report will look like it's supposed to look on that particular device. And that's just made through a checkbox. So you just go through in your report settings, say which ones do you want to have it generated, and it'll just automatically generate them for you that way. Speaking of the web client and the web server, well, we have more requests to make it more customizable. There's still ways of going in to tweak the settings if you want to, but we made things a little bit easier for users here to white label. So you can go in and say, okay, well, what do you want the text to show? What do you want to have icons, etc. You can have them there within the product without having to go through the back end and doing your tweaks there. All the back end stuff still works, but if you want to have certain things really done really easily, we give the ability to do that here as well. Another level of security, we've added whitelisting for URLs. So what this will do is it'll go through your application and look at all the reports and purge and go through and determine if there's any other outside URLs that are located within your reports, and determine which ones are there. And then from that point, you can say, okay, well, only these URLs that we put on the whitelist are accessible through the reports. So this is especially important if you have a web server and you want to limit what the output is to that, so you don't have any sort of nefarious information going on there. We've added some more licensing capabilities for the web server. In certain instances, there's particular users that you always want to have access to the server, and other users are just concurrent. So we've given the capabilities for particular users to just reserve a spot, so they don't have to worry about getting denied access based off of licenses. So that's pretty neat there. We've enhanced the version control. We've had version management in the product for a while. This is just an enhancement that goes over a better UI for the time stamping of the data, so you can go better determine which one makes more sense to go back to if you need to go back to it. Some other development UI stuff we've done in the development environment. We've improved the report tree and object tree. They're just undockable, and you can move them around. It makes things a little bit easier from that standpoint. If you're working in a really light environment, like a well-lit office or a dim, dark dungeon, like some people like to work in, we've had the ability to change the color scheme, whether for light or dark or somewhere in between. There's different variables for that as well. So with that, I think I'm done. Thank you guys for your time. I think Pierre's probably going to go over a little bit of a deep dive. It might be a little bit difficult because the product hasn't released yet, but good luck to you. And yeah, if you have any other questions, let us know, and we're looking forward to releasing it.